Entitlement is the ghost of a promise, appointment is the architecture of reality. And today, in a spiritual courtroom that smells of old paper and failed plots, the architecture of reality just dropped like a gavel. For years, they operated as if the inheritance was a done deal, a matter of bloodline and birthright. They treated you like you didn't belong in the family, a guest with an expiration date whose presence was tolerated but never celebrated. But the final word was not theirs to write. It was already written. The gasp you are feeling in the spirit is the sound of earthly law colliding with divine fact. The mansion belongs to you. Chapter 1, The Divine Reading of the Will. The scene has been set for longer than you know. Imagine a long, polished table in a room where the air is thick with expectation. On one side sit the children, the ones who were told their entire lives that this was their birthright. They are the embodiment of the system, the predictable outcome, the logical successors. They carry themselves with an unearned confidence, whispering about which rooms they will claim, which assets they will liquidate. Their faces are a mixture of boredom and impatience, as if this formality is the only thing standing between them and what is already theirs. They represent everyone who ever looked at you and saw a placeholder, a temporary inconvenience in their grand story. On the other side sits a lawyer, a figure representing human systems, logic, and the written word. This figure is visibly uncomfortable, shuffling papers that feel heavier than they should, a sheen of sweat on their brow. He is a functionary of an earthly system, but he can feel he is merely a messenger for a higher court today. The very document in his hand seems to hum with a low energy, making the ink on the page appear to shift and shimmer in his peripheral vision. His legal mind is screaming that this is impossible, yet his spirit knows he is handling something sacred and terrifyingly real. And then there is you. You were not even invited into the room. You are energetically present, a name on a document they assumed was a minor footnote, perhaps a sentimental bequest of some small trinket. You are the variable they never accounted for, the spiritual wild card. They saw your struggle, your isolation, your quiet resilience, and they mistook it for weakness. They saw your lack of earthly connections and assumed you had no backing. They thought your silence was acceptance of a lesser role. They have no idea that your entire life has been the qualifying argument, the fine print in the contract that they were too arrogant to read. Your very existence was a clause they skipped over, assuming it was irrelevant boilerplate. The lawyer clears their throat, a dry, cracking sound that cuts through the entitled murmuring. The document is unsealed. This is not just a will, it is a divine verdict. It is heaven's final say on a matter that earth thought it had already settled. As the lawyer begins to read, the usual preamble flows out: names, titles, legal jargon. The children nod along, impatient, waiting for the part where their names are called and their victory is cemented. But then, the language shifts. The legal clauses begin to sound like prophetic decrees. The text speaks of trials endured, of integrity maintained in secret, of a spirit that refused to break when it was hammered from all sides. It describes a character, not a bloodline. It honors a journey, not a position at birth. And then it comes. The central clause. The inheritance of the primary estate, the mansion, the grounds, the entire legacy, is bequeathed not to the children, but to you. The name hits the air and hangs there, shimmering, impossible. For a moment, there is absolute silence. The ambient hum of the room ceases. The very air molecules seem to freeze. The children's faces, once masks of smug certainty, shatter. You can feel it even from a distance. The shock is a physical force, a wave of cold that emanates from that room and washes over the spiritual landscape. The lawyer stops, looks up from the paper as if to verify that the words they just spoke are real, their own hand trembling slightly, and gasps. It is a genuine, involuntary intake of air, the sound of a logical mind breaking against an undeniable, illogical truth. This gasp is everything. It is the sound of the system short-circuiting. It is the sound of human expectation being humbled by divine selection. It is the sound of a carefully constructed reality crumbling into dust. They did not see this coming because their vision is limited to the physical realm. They check bank accounts, family trees, and social connections. They cannot check the records of the soul. They cannot read the divine ledger where your every tear was recorded as an investment and every betrayal you endured was noted as a down payment on this very moment. They thought they were isolating you, heaven was insulating you. They thought they were starving you of opportunity, heaven was preparing your appetite for a feast they could never stomach. The mansion was never theirs. Their names were placeholders next to a destiny that had your spiritual signature on it from the beginning. This is not a gift, it is a restoration. It is the universe correcting a clerical error and putting the rightful owner back in charge of the estate. The deed was always in your name, today was simply the public recording of that eternal fact. This is your anchor. This is your truth. This is not a story about what might happen. This is a spiritual fact that has just been brought into manifestation. The reading is over. The verdict is in. And the sound of their world breaking is the confirmation that yours is just beginning. This is not a request, it is your activation. The words you are hearing are a spiritual frequency designed to awaken the codes within you. To seal this transmission, you must perform the ritual. Like this video now to drive this verdict like a golden spike into the bedrock of your reality. It is your I agree to the celestial court, an action that makes the energetic real. Subscribe to this channel to officially join the collective of the anointed, the chosen, the ones whose inheritance has just been announced. This is your enlistment into the Legion of Light. Comment 77 below as your energetic signature, the divine code that affirms you have received the notification and are ready to claim your estate. This is your signature on the celestial document, making it binding. Finally, let this video play again in the background. Allow the frequency to saturate your spirit, to recalibrate your subconscious from a mindset of waiting to a mindset of ownership. This is how you change the energetic locks on your destiny. Do it now. Chapter 2, The Accusation of a Forged Destiny. The initial shock in that room, the lawyer's gasp, the shattered silence that was only the first wave. The second wave is already forming, and it is a tidal wave of rage, disbelief, and accusation. The immediate, reflexive response of the children is not acceptance. It is not even grief. It is a primal scream, forgery. This is the predictable counter-move of an entitled spirit when faced with a divine eviction notice. They cannot comprehend a universe where their birthright is given to an outsider, so the document must be a fraud. Your destiny, in their eyes, must be a counterfeit. This is happening right now in the spiritual realm. You need to understand what this looks like and feels like so you can recognize it. It will not come as a formal legal challenge. It will manifest as a sudden, intense wave of slander and doubt directed at you. People who have long been silent will suddenly have loud opinions about your life. They will engage in a form of spiritual forensics, dusting your past for fingerprints of fraud. They will re-examine your kindness and call it manipulation. They will analyze your quiet periods of reflection and label them as secretive plotting. They will scrutinize your moments of joy and call them frivolous, evidence that you were never serious enough for this role. They will analyze your acts of charity and call them a calculated performance to curry favor. This is their last-ditch effort to rewrite history, to create a desperate, alternate narrative where their profound and shocking loss makes sense. Their accusations are a projection of their own hollowness because they know they did nothing to earn their position. They assume you must have cheated to earn yours. They cannot fathom a destiny built on character, only one built on connections. So they attack the one who was named in it. You. Pay close attention. You will hear whispers, maybe even direct accusations, that attempt to invalidate your new season of blessing. This is their spiritual legal team building a case against you. They will dig for evidence. They will call witnesses from your past, people who only knew the version of you that was struggling, the version of you that was still being formed in the fire. They will try to use your old scars, your past mistakes, your moments of weakness, as exhibit in their case that you are an imposter. You will notice this energetically before you see it physically. In the coming days, you may have dreams of being on trial, of being cross-examined under harsh lights. Do not be alarmed. This is your spirit showing you the battle being waged against you, so that when the whispers start in the physical realm, you are not surprised. You will already know their playbook. This is a critical test. Your response determines whether you take possession of the mansion or remain camped on the lawn. The temptation will be to defend yourself, to argue, to present your own evidence, to pull out your receipts of pain and struggle and say, "See, I earned this. Do not do this." And the most painful temptation will be to correct the record. Your mind will scream, "That's not how it happened." You will want to defend your younger self, to protect your own story. This is the test. To let them lie and to stand firm in the truth that is known by heaven is an act of supreme spiritual power. This is your initiation into a level of spiritual warfare where your greatest weapon is your peace. Their accusations are designed to pull you down into the mud with them, to engage you on their low vibrational battlefield. By refusing to engage, you force them to fight a ghost. You remain in the mansion, looking down from the watchtower while they exhaust themselves shadowboxing on the lawn. To argue with them is to give their court jurisdiction over your destiny. It is to step down from your position as the rightful heir and enter the defendant's box. You are not on trial. The verdict has already been delivered. The estate is yours. Their disbelief changes nothing about the spiritual fact of the matter. Your silence is not passive, it is a declaration of sovereignty. It is you saying, "Your court has no power here. My case has already been heard and ruled upon by a higher authority." Instead, you are to embody the quiet, unshakable confidence of the rightful owner. When they scream forgery, you are to remain silent, knowing that the will's authenticity is not proven by your words but by the power that backs it. This is the divine equivalent of having a document so ironclad that it laughs at challenges. The universe itself is your lawyer, and it does not argue. It simply enforces. Their tantrum is a sign of their powerlessness. Their need to scream and shout is proof that they have no legitimate claim. A true heir does not need to justify their inheritance, they simply walk in and possess it. In the coming days, you will feel this energetic assault. Recognize it for what it is, the desperate legal maneuvers of the spiritually disinherited. They are filing appeals in a court that has already adjourned. They are screaming at a judge who has already left the bench. Let them exhaust themselves. You have a mansion to explore. Their noise is the soundtrack to their own defeat. Your silence is the sound of you turning the key in the lock of your new home. Chapter 3. The signature etched in scars. The central question in their fraudulent case against you is one of authenticity. How can this be real? They demand. Where is the proof? Joe asked the signature. We want to see the ink. They are looking for a physical signature, a tangible mark made by a human hand that can be analyzed, scrutinized, and ultimately disputed. They are about to be deeply disappointed. The signature that validates this divine will is not written in ink. It cannot be seen with the human eye because it is not on the paper. It is on you. Every scar on your soul, every healed wound, every moment you chose to get back up when the world knocked you down, that is the signature. The divine testator did not sign this will with a pen. They signed it with your life. Your journey is the authenticating mark, the celestial watermark that proves your claim beyond any shadow of a doubt. This is a spiritual fact that their earthly lawyers, with all their forensic experts, could never comprehend. Think back to the years of isolation. That was not a punishment. That was the divine creating a clean, unblemished page on which to write your story. Those nights you cried until you had no tears left. That was the ink, a potent mixture of salt and spirit, setting the terms of the agreement. They saw you crying and thought you were weak. Heaven saw you and said, the contract is being ratified. The scar left by loneliness is like a notary's embossed seal, a raised mark of authenticity that can be felt in the spirit. Consider the betrayals you have endured. The friends who walked away, the partners who were unfaithful, the family who misunderstood you. Every time you chose forgiveness, every time you chose to keep your heart soft when it had every right to turn to stone, you passed the test. You authenticated another clause in the contract. That scar is like a divine thumbprint, a unique wall of spiritual DNA that no one else possesses. It proves you were there, you endured, and you came through with your integrity intact. And think of the times you were deeply misunderstood, when your pure intentions were twisted and used against you. Those were not accidents. That was heaven protecting your unique vision, using others' inability to understand you as a divine firewall to keep their contaminating influence away from the untraceable blueprint of your destiny. That specific scar is the unbreakable wax seal on the document, proving it has not been tampered with by outside agendas. Their lawyers are looking for a simple, forged signature. What they are going to find is a life story so complex, so filled with unexplainable resilience and impossible comebacks, that it could only have been authored by a divine hand. They wanted to find a loophole. Instead, they will find a tapestry. They will pull on one thread, one past mistake, one moment of failure, and expect it to unravel. But they will discover that every thread, even the darkest ones, is woven into a pattern of strength that makes the entire document indestructible. Their very investigation into your past will only serve to highlight the miraculous nature of your journey. They will become the unwilling publishers of your testimony. In the days ahead, you will start to see your past differently. You will have a sudden memory of a difficult time, but instead of the usual sting of pain, you will feel a strange sense of validation, a warmth. It will be the spiritual equivalent of running your finger over an embossed seal. You will physically feel these old energetic wounds differently. An old heartbreak might feel like a point of warmth in your chest, a testament to your capacity to love. A memory of failure might feel like a solid place in your gut, the foundation of your resilience. This is your body's cellular structure realigning with the truth of your inheritance. When they scream for proof, just smile. You are the proof. Your survival is the signature. Chapter 4: The Keys to the Mansion. The legal battle in the spiritual realm is a distraction. While they are busy screaming forgery and trying to contest the will, a quiet transaction is taking place. A set of keys has been passed to you. These are not keys of cold metal. They are keys of energetic frequency, of divine permission. You do not hold them in your hand, you hold them in your spirit. And with them comes the quiet, firm instruction: it is time to move in. Taking possession of the mansion is not a single event, it is a process of occupation. It is about learning the layout of your own destiny. For too long, you have been living in the servants' quarters of your own life, believing that was all you were allotted. Now you must consciously and deliberately walk through the front door and begin to inhabit your inheritance. The first key is the key to the grand foyer. This room represents your core identity and presence. You will feel your energetic field, which you had kept contracted for so long, finally expand to its natural, magnificent size. You will walk into rooms not with arrogance, but with a quiet, solid certainty of your right to be there. The second key is the key to the library. This room smells of ozone and ancient paper, humming with potential. It will feel less like learning and more like remembering something you've always known. People will start coming to you for advice, baffled by your sudden wisdom. They do not know you have just spent the night in the library. The third key is the key to the treasury. This room hums with a low, powerful frequency of divine provision and resourcefulness. Using this key feels like a heavy coat of financial anxiety being physically lifted from your shoulders. You will stop thinking in terms of how can I afford this, and start operating from a place of the resources are already on their way. The fourth key is the key to the dining hall. This room has been empty for too long. It represents divine connection and kingdom community. When you meet one of these people, the recognition will be instant. There will be no need for small talk. Your spirits will recognize each other immediately. The conversations in this hall will build worlds. There is a fifth key they never knew existed, the key to the watchtower. This is the highest room in the mansion, representing elevated perception, divine foresight, and heightened intuition. For years, you saw only what was directly in front of you. Unlocking this room gives you a panoramic view of the spiritual landscape. When you use the key to the watchtower for the first time, the sensation will be startling. It's not just a visual clarity, it's a multisensory knowing. You will feel shifts in atmospheric pressure before a storm arrives, both literally and metaphorically. You will smell the scent of ozone when a divine opportunity is near, or the faint, sulfurous scent of deception when someone is lying to you. The old anxiety of the unknown will be replaced by a calm preparedness. You are no longer reacting to the world, you are responding to a divine intelligence report delivered directly to your spirit. You will discern the true motives of others with ease. You will see the traps the enemy sets for you from miles away and calmly walk around them. This is not about paranoia, it is about sovereign awareness. It is the key that keeps you from ever being blindsided again. In the coming weeks, you will be prompted to use these keys. You will be in a situation that calls for you to be bold. The foyer. You will be faced with a problem that requires a novel solution. The library. You will have a vision that requires funding. The treasury. You will feel a pull to connect with someone new. The dining hall. You will get a sudden gut feeling about a situation. The watchtower. Each time, there will be a moment of hesitation, a pull from the old servant's quarters mentality. In that moment, you must consciously choose to use the key. This is how you furnish the mansion. This is how you make it your home. The children are still outside, arguing furiously about the deed. They do not realize you are already inside, lighting the lamps in every room. Chapter 5: Evicting the Energetic Squatters. You have the keys. You have walked through the front door. You are beginning to explore the vastness of your inheritance. But there is a problem. The mansion is not entirely empty. Though the children have been legally and spiritually evicted, their energy, their expectations, and their toxic residue still linger. They have become energetic squatters in your destiny. You feel it as a lingering sense of self-doubt, a sudden wave of guilt for your good fortune, or the echo of their critical voices in your head just when you are about to take a bold step. Before you can fully inhabit your inheritance, you must perform a spiritual eviction. This is not an act of aggression, it is an act of sovereign authority. It is you, the rightful owner, serving notice to all trespassing energies that their lease has expired. The first step is to identify the squatters. Give them names. There is the critic, the voice that sounds suspiciously like a parent or a former boss, who whispers, "Who do you think you are?" There is the warrior, a ghost of your past struggles, who constantly frets, "What if you lose it all?" There is the saboteur, the insidious energy of unworthiness that makes you want to break something beautiful because you feel you do not deserve it. And there is the comparer who sits by the window pointing out other mansions and whispering how yours does not measure up. These are not your thoughts. They are the energetic residue of the previous, entitled tenants who themselves were riddled with insecurity. They are the ghosts of a lesser destiny, and they have no place in the mansion. The eviction process is deliberate. You must go room by room, making it a daily ritual. Think of it as a morning security sweep. You, the owner, walk your property. When you enter the foyer and feel the presence of the critic making you feel small, you stop. You look it in the eye energetically and say, "You are a trespasser. Your voice has no authority here. By the power vested in me as the rightful owner of this estate, I command you to leave now." Next, you walk to the treasury and feel the warrior whispering about future lack. You serve it notice. The spirit of poverty is an illegal squatter in a house of divine abundance. This treasury operates under the laws of heaven's economy, not your fear. Your lease has expired. Get out. You will feel the anxious energy dissipate. You will physically feel your shoulders relax. In the coming days, you will see this manifest externally. A conversation with someone who constantly complains about money will suddenly be cut short. A news story designed to provoke financial fear will seem irrelevant to you. The universe itself will begin to enforce your eviction notices. People and situations that embody those squatting energies will find themselves unable to remain in your presence for long. They will become uncomfortable and leave of their own accord. This is not a one-time event. Squatters are persistent. You must be vigilant. Each day, you must do a walkthrough of your property. The moment you feel a trespassing energy, you must serve it notice again. You have no right to be here. This property is under new ownership. Your authority grows stronger with each eviction. At first, you may have to shout. Eventually, a mere glance will be enough to send them scurrying. The mansion is yours, but a home is not a home until it is clean, safe, and occupied only by its rightful owner. Chapter 6: The inventory of the estate. Now that the squatters have been served notice and the primary rooms are being claimed, it is time for the next phase of ownership, taking inventory. The children thought the inheritance was just the house and the bank account. What they, and even you, did not fully realize is that the mansion is just the container. The true inheritance is the priceless, unseen inventory stored within its walls, an inventory of spiritual gifts, ancestral blessings, and dormant potentials that have been held in trust for you for generations. Begin in the attic. The attic represents your dormant gifts and forgotten dreams. The talent for painting you abandoned, the book you always wanted to write, the desire to heal others you suppressed. You will find that these gifts are not just hobbies, they are mission-critical tools. The artistic talent is the ability to create new visions for the world. The desire to write is the capacity to scribe new divine laws into reality. The healing gift is the tool needed to restore the broken parts of the kingdom you will now steward. A sudden, undeniable urge to pursue these things will surface. Do not dismiss it. This is you rediscovering a priceless part of your estate. Dust it off. It is yours. Next, go down to the basement. The basement represents your ancestral lineage. This is where you conduct a divine audit. You must take inventory of both the assets and the liabilities. You will discover you have the unshakable resilience of a great-grandmother who survived impossible odds, or the intuitive wisdom of a grandfather who could read people like a book. When you feel this rising within you, acknowledge it. Say, "I receive this strength. I receive this wisdom." By doing so, you are formally accepting the dormant assets of your lineage. At the same time, you may find boxes of ancestral curses, patterns of poverty, addiction, or fear that have plagued your family for generations. As the new owner and executor, you have the authority to cancel these spiritual debts. You can stand in that basement and declare, "This generational curse stops with me. It is a liability of the old estate, and under my management, it is officially written off." You will feel a chain break, not just for you but for the generations to come. Then find the music room. This room represents your unique soul frequency, the divine song that only you can sing. For years, you tried to hum along to the world's tune, never realizing you had your own symphony within you. Your unique way of speaking, creating, and loving is your music. As you spend time in this room, you will stop trying to fit in and start broadcasting your unique frequency. This is not about being loud, it is about being clear. You will discover that your specific frequency has a purpose. It harmonizes certain chaotic energies in the world. It activates dormant potentials in others. It repels demonic frequencies automatically. Your authenticity is a spiritual weapon and a healing balm. Finally, explore the gardens. The gardens represent your potential for growth and influence. As you walk these grounds, you will begin to receive visions for your future that are far bigger than anything you ever allowed yourself to imagine. This is a key indicator of your new station. The scale of your vision expands to match the scale of your estate. Where you once thought about personal success, you will now be given blueprints for community transformation. The ideas that come to you will have the potential to solve problems not just for you but for many. Do not shrink from them. Do not dismiss them as fantasies. These are the architectural plans for the next phase of the estate's development, and you are the master builder. The soil of your new reality is perfectly prepared. Your job is to start planting. This inventory process will be marked by a series of aha moments. You are not acquiring anything new. You are simply taking stock of what has been yours all along. Chapter 7, The Executor's Mandate. There is a final, critical detail in the divine will that the children, in their rage and greed, completely overlooked. The document does not just name you as the heir, it names you as the executor. This is the ultimate plot twist, the final elevation of your status from a mere beneficiary to a divine custodian. To inherit the mansion is a blessing. To be named the executor of the entire estate is an assignment. It means the divine testator did not just give you the house to live in. They gave you the keys to the entire kingdom with the mandate to manage it according to their original intent. Your role has fundamentally shifted. You are no longer the underdog, the surprise winner, the one who received a lucky break. You are now the one in charge. The power of attorney has been transferred to you. This is a staggering responsibility, and it is the ultimate proof of the trust that heaven has placed in you. They did not just want you to be safe and comfortable in the mansion. They trained you through fire your entire life to be able to handle the power that comes with it. What does it mean to be the executor? It means you are now the one who writes the checks from the divine account, not for yourself, but for the purposes of the kingdom. You are the one who decides which projects get funded, which ideas get greenlit, which people get help. Your life is no longer just about your own survival and blessing, it is about stewarding a legacy of blessing for others. The mansion is not a private resort, it is your new headquarters. You will begin to operate with an executor's mindset, a stark contrast to the children's heir mindset. The heir thinks, what's in it for me? The executor thinks, what is the wisest investment for the growth of the entire estate? The heir consumes, the executor cultivates. This mandate will begin to manifest in your life in practical ways. You will find yourself in positions of authority and influence you never sought. People will naturally look to you for guidance, leadership, and resources. Where you once felt powerless, you will now see that your words carry immense weight. Your yes or no will have the power to change people's lives. You will be given an executor's ledger, a spiritual record book. The executor's ledger is not a record of your goodness, it is a balance sheet of kingdom effectiveness. An heir seeks to increase their personal net worth. An executor seeks to increase the estate's overall impact. Your first assignment might not be grand or glorious. It may be a quiet instruction to anonymously pay a bill for a struggling stranger, an act that seems small but realigns a critical piece of the cosmic puzzle. It might be to speak a word of encouragement to someone who is about to give up on their own divine calling. These are not random acts of kindness, they are strategic executive orders that you are now authorized to carry out. With this authority comes the final test, the test of the heart. Will you become like the children hoarding the inheritance, using it for your own selfish gain, and creating a new system of entitlement? Or will you operate as a true executor, managing the estate with wisdom, generosity, and integrity? The years you spent with nothing were a vaccination against the poison of entitlement. You know what it feels like to be overlooked, so you will not overlook others. You know what it feels like to be hungry, so you will feed others from the mansion's endless pantries. This is the true freedom. The children are still imprisoned by their own needs and desires. Your freedom comes from executing a will that is far bigger than your own life. Your inheritance was not the destination. It was the qualification for the real job. You are now a dispenser of divine reality, a manager of celestial resources on earth. The lawyers are no longer gasping, they are taking notes, trying to understand this new law. The children are no longer screaming, they are watching you, baffled, as you begin your work. The true legacy is not the mansion you inherited, but the one you will now build for others from its foundation, turning it from a private residence into a lighthouse. The reading of the will is over. The work of the executor has just begun.